This is the great Sony Cinealta EX1R. This is a one-owner camera. I bought it a few years back for about $6,000, and I am selling it today on eBay for only £1,295 pounds. I'm selling it with a porta-brace case. It's a heavy-duty case that allowed me to carry not only the camera but also the accessories that I'll be selling with it, in addition to other bits of kit. I have, as you can see here, the manual. Very hard to find this from some of those camera reseller guys that are selling the same camera for the same or more money for just the camera itself. It's hard to get a lot of these accessories and the manual for the price that I'm selling it for. So some of the accessories, just an overview. I've got the original Sony battery here, along with the original Sony power. Now this can either power the camera or charge batteries. And it comes also with a lot of the useless cables which you will never use, but they came with the camera, so I'm selling them with the camera. These are for the old school type AV connectors and that sort of thing. But some of the things which are quite useful will be the original S/S card, 16 gigs. Shooting this on HD will give you about 55 minutes of uninterrupted usage. And as you know, this camera is fantastic. If you get one of the Sony adapters that goes in the S/S slot, and then a high-speed, high-quality card to go in it, you can shoot on inexpensive cards, which I'm including as well, the adapter and the card, 32 gigs. That'll give you 111 minutes of full HD, which this camera shoots. And then I'm also throwing in an MXR card, because one of the things that this EX1 does is you can overcrank it and get really good quality slow motion with this camera. This is not a prosumer camera. This is not a hobbyist camera. This is a high quality pro level camera, but a good size so that you can get a lot done with it as a professional. It's got half-inch chips, not the prosumer quarter-inch or 1/3 inch chips, 3 half-inch chips, and it records not at the 25 megabit rate, but it records at the 35 megabit rate. The great thing about this camera is it's got, with one switch, you can go from either PAL, which is what I use it in now in the UK, or you can switch it over and go NTSC, which gives you different frame rates for in the States. You have your choice of both, so that's one of the great features. But what this MXR allows you to do is you get a high-speed card, a very, very, very high-speed card that goes in the MXR, and you can overcrank on the small cards. On the standard cards, overcranking is not recommended, but on the S/S Pro, this MXR adapter will give you card speed that's even greater than this original S/S card that came with the camera itself. Now I'm also throwing in 2 high-capacity batteries, bricks, that I used. One of these would get me through half the day on this camera, shooting non-stop. One of these, and I'll show you how to hook those up too as well. But I got 2 of them so I could get through a full day without a recharge. And then I'm also throwing in a dual capacity additional charger. I'll show you how this works as well. That gives you a readout of just how far along you are in the charge. But I plop these on the additional dual charger at night, wake up the next morning, they're ready to go for a full day's shoot. I'm also throwing in the tap. Now this is fantastic because you can take this tap cable and plug it in here to the back of the battery, and then plug this into a compatible light and run your video light off the battery of the camera, which is quite handy. Of course, you'll get less time out of the battery for the camera if you're running a light off of it the whole time, but that's to be expected. With all of this, as I say, $12.95 is what my listing price is. You can see from my other videos that when I sell something, I sell a package, I always underprice it because I price it to move. I'm not a professional camera reseller guy. I'm just a person that has owned this equipment and taken care of it over the years. So it gets snapped up very quick. So if you see it and you like it, I'd recommend you jump on it, because it's going to go very fast considering everything that I'm throwing in for only 1,295 pounds. That's this porta brace case. It's the manual, the extended life batteries, the original battery and charger, and the dual charger here. Absolutely useless cables, which everybody needs. And then also the very useful card and card slot. I'm giving you capacity. I'm going to charge the batteries up for you. I've already wiped all the cards for you. So this thing comes into you, it'll be ready to shoot. You can pull these cards out, pop them in, put the batteries on, and you're ready to go. Now let's take a look at a couple of these accessories in a bit more depth. One of the things I didn't mention, but which I should mention, is that this is a one-owner camera, but with only 491 hours of use on it. Now what I'm going to do is factory reset this camera before I ship it to you, so it'll reset all the settings on it. But don't worry if you want to set it up to how you like it. Everything's going to be here for you in the manual, so you can see how to set it up just exactly as you like. But I'll reset this back to the factory settings, but I wanted to at least get a shot of the fact that there are only 491 hours. Again, from a camera reseller that's selling this camera for probably £100 more for just the camera and charger. You're getting this whole kit, this whole bundle, and you're getting a camera that's only been used 491 hours over the course of the last few years and well cared for. Now what I'd like to do is show you quickly how these bricks work. They are aftermarket, so obviously they're not Sony products, but they've served me very well, and they'll serve you well as well. So the first thing we do is we just lock them in, and as you can see, there's your LED. There is your LED that tells you just exactly how much. Now these I've already charged mostly for you, but just for the purposes of there you see, that's what you have ready to go. That's how you get it charged. And then once the bricks are done, so right now I have the original battery there in the camera. Release the battery pack, put that back on the original charger. Make sure that that's set up to charge, which it is. And then we'll take one of these bricks. Now the thing about these bricks is that, number one, you do get half a day's use out of them. It acts as a great counterbalance to the on a tripod for the Sony. You'll hear it click in. You'll know that it's locked in. And then here's the key. So what you'll do is take this cable, disconnect that from the side of the battery, and connect it here to the camera for the power, for the DC in, and there you have it. And then what happens is you'll turn it to camera, give the Sony camera a second to find the battery, which it finds it, and you have half a day's supply at full HD, which is what this camera shoots, off of one battery. Now, one of the things that I like about it is it gives you a little LED readout. Kind of hard to see here. That's a great little feature just to let you know. Because it's aftermarket, Sony doesn't allow for its cameras to read what the battery life is on your LED screen. That's just the way Sony set it up to make sure that you buy Sony branded batteries. But you'll have one of those as well. But one way or another, you'll be able to make sure you know just exactly how much juice is left in each one of the bricks. This is the adapter itself. Of course, they all come in their cases, all of the original cases. You can see on that it has a little arrow there that tells you what direction to add it to the camera, which you'll pop it in slot A. This is what I like. Another little feature of the the EX1R is that there's dual slots. So you'll then take your Sony card and slide it in the slot like so. And you hear that little tiny click in there, and you'll see the green light goes on. That lets you know that you're in business. And then also, might be hard to focus here, but then that tells you right there 111 minutes. at what I'm shooting, which is full HD. I usually shoot 1920, 1080, and usually 25p. All right, probably the most expensive of all accessories that I'm going to be shipping with this camera is the porta-brace case. The porta-brace case, bought brand new, is about $500, brand new. But of course, it's shipping in, and it's going to be included in the cost of the 1,295 pounds for the whole kit, which the camera itself is worth more than 1,295 pounds on eBay, but you're going to get the whole kit with it. So let's take a look at this porta-brace case. It's got an overstrap here. Ooh, with this, I bought it oversized on purpose. I wanted to have a case that would allow the camera to sit in there secure, safe, and snug, even with the brick on the back, as you can see there. I would also carry the accessories, additional accessories, also in the pocket here, and batteries, additional batteries and chargers and cards would go in the small pockets, or the secure pockets there. The useless cables have never seen the light of day. In fact, this is the first time I've ever even touched them, I think, outside of the day that I opened the camera. But I also would carry this around. I would carry my manual around, so it's a little frayed. You could tell it's been carried around a bit, but it's every page is there, nothing torn out. But I would use that just in case I wanted to do something a little bit special on a particular shoot. That keeps it nice and secure. I'll have this whole thing packed together with all accessories in this case, and then wrapped with additional packing and a box that goes around the outside of this case, so that the whole package comes to you safe and secure. I am located in England, and I use this camera in the PAL, but there is a switch if you need to go overseas and use the NTSC in America, you can do that as well. But as I'm located here in the UK, I'm only selling it to UK residents, or people here in the UK only, just for shipping purposes. It would just cost too much to send it over, and the declaration and all that stuff, and customs. I don't want to mess with all that, so I'll just sell it here local in UK. I'm based up in Lancashire, so if you're in that area and you want to come and pick it up, you can save on the freight costs. This is a fantastic camera. And haven't even begun to go into some of the features like the double XLR inputs. So it's professional level audio that comes out of the camera if you record directly into camera. And I would always do that. I would always run my mics straight into it, or I'd run off a PA system, a PA board. And then on those little XLRs, there's a little switch. You just switch that over to line, and that tells the camera you're not using a mic, you're using a line from a board. And it makes all appropriate adjustments, and you get a crystal clear sound. It's fantastic. Great overall camera. It can be fully automatic, or you can opt to use each one separately. I would use them manually for manual focus, manual iris, or manual aperture, and manual zoom, so that I'd have full and complete control over everything. Manual, and then the manual white balance, so that it wouldn't be white balancing in the middle of my shot if some guy walked across frame with a white shirt and suddenly it's white balancing and that sort of thing. I would set all that, and that is all done from the front of the camera. All of this will be in the description. I'll explain to you exactly in the description. All of the specs of this camera will be listed, and you'll know just exactly what the exact capacity is for this camera. As I said, 1,295 pounds is what I'm listing it for on eBay. And believe me, with everything that you're getting here, it's an absolute steal. I'm sure I'm going to have people questioning whether or not the camera is still for sale months after I've posted this video, but you can get it today. Happy buying. There actually is no bidding on this. You can pick it up for $12.95, and I think I also have a make an offer on there as well. But at this rate, $12.95 is really a steal, and I'm happy to provide you with that deal.